So today I'm talking about this movie that I actually only watched recently, and it is called Independence Day. I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard of it. The original Independence Day, which is the one that I watched, was made in 1996, so not too long ago. But like I said, I only recently watched it, and I am obsessed with it currently. I don't really know why, I just am, so that's why I'm talking about it. So first off, I'll just explain the plot. If you haven't seen the movie yet, you should definitely check it out. I think it's available on Hulu and Roku and a few other streaming services, so if you have those, you can go watch it. But in the beginning, the aliens are coming to invade the Earth because this is a sci-fi movie about aliens who are invading the Earth. We're introduced to all the characters, and of course, the main character, whose name is David, is kind of figuring things out with the aliens. He knows they're not here for peaceful reasons, and he figures this out because they're using our radio signals against us, but he is able to also use that against them to figure out what they're planning to do. The president is planning to stay at the White House, which is one of the places that the aliens are just looming their ship over. So David calls his ex-wife, who actually works for the president. He's like, "You need to get out of there now," and she doesn't believe him. So he actually goes there to warn them, and they all get out before the aliens completely just destroy the White House. There are a few other characters, like Will Smith is in this movie. I don't remember his character's name, so I'm just gonna call him Will Smith. He's in the Air Force, and he has a girlfriend who has a child, and they live in California, I think. Then there's a guy named Russell, who says he was abducted by aliens a long time ago, and he's just kind of seen as a crazy person, and he has a few kids. The Air Force tries to attack some of the alien ships, but it turns out that they have a force field around their ship, so they're not able to, and most of the people on the mission die, except for, of course, Will Smith. Eventually, all the characters kind of meet together, and they go to Area 51 and dissect one of the aliens to try to figure things out, and that goes terribly wrong. The alien who they were dissecting basically takes over one of the scientist's bodies, and the scientist tries to enter the president's body, and he unsuccessfully does it, but now the president is aware of their plans. He describes them as locusts who just want to use the Earth to basically take all of the nutrients and the energy out of it, and then they will just go to another planet to do the same. But the characters figure out how to get the force field down, so David and Will Smith end up going into space using one of the alien ships to go to the mothership, while everybody else is attacking the other ships, which the force fields have now been taken down thanks to David and Will Smith. Like there's a weak point on the Death Star, there's a weak point on the alien ship, and they have to hit it, and everybody's out of missiles but Russell. But whenever he tries to fire it, it is lodged, so he decides to sacrifice himself so that everybody else will be saved. Everything is fine at the end, and the movie ends with all the aliens being defeated, and everybody is happy. Now into my thoughts about this movie. I have a lot. I'll go over the stuff I didn't like or just found confusing first. One thing I really hate is that at the beginning of the movie, when a scene changes, there's like a flash, and I just hate it so much it hurts my eyes. Also, there's just a lot of characters. I don't dislike any of the characters, but sometimes it just feels like there's too many. And some of the characters feel like they're supposed to be more important, but then they're just not, and they're never given enough screen time. Another thing is just like Russell, when he dies, he has kids, like I said, and he's like, "Take care of my kids," and then he dies. But like, we hardly see the kids again. There's like this one scene where this guy asks one of his kids, like, "Are you proud?" And the kid's like, "Yeah, I'm proud." But after that, we don't see them, like, especially at the end of the movie where all the main characters kind of come around and they're like, "Oh yay, we won, woohoo." They're just gone. So, I made a personal headcanon where Mr. President adopts the kids. May sound a bit too obsessed with this movie, but that's just what I did. Another thing was just like the whole thing with the Russell being kidnapped by the aliens. I guess it's just supposed to be a joke, but it was brought up so many times that it felt like it was supposed to be more important. But it's never really explained why he was kidnapped by the aliens, so I guess it was just supposed to be a joke. I don't know, I think it should have been addressed, and if not, just leave it out of the movie. Another thing is just the president's wife. She's basically going to die because she's internally bleeding and the doctors can't save her. But like, she never really gets a death scene, and I guess I can get why the movie has to keep going. But maybe it would have been better if they just killed her on screen whenever the president saw her last or something, so it just kind of concludes better. Now just on to things that I did like about this movie. Number one is just this movie is hilarious. I made an out of context compilation on my YouTube channel a few days ago because of how funny I thought it was. Like, there's this one scene where Will Smith punches an alien, and these aliens have these costumes, or like, I guess these skins, I'm not really sure, that cover their real form to protect them. And if he's able to do that, then he must be incredibly strong. One character I did really like was Jimmy. He was kind of friends with Will Smith. And he dies, unfortunately, whenever they try to attack the alien ships, but they still have the force fields on. Another thing was the dog. There's a dog who belongs to the girlfriend of Will Smith's character. It's amazing. He jumps past an explosion. The special effects in this movie are so bad sometimes. Like, I'm sure they were really good whenever this movie was made, but now they just kind of look a bit bad in some spots, and that was one of them. But Vincent Go, and I know his name isn't Vincent, it's actually Boomer, but he looks like the dog from Lost whose name is Vincent, so I'm just going to call him Vincent. And I know I was just dogging on the special effects a few seconds ago, but the part where the aliens destroy all the buildings of the cities and stuff, that part was really good because all you could do was really watch, and I just kind of felt a sense of dread while seeing it. Like, this was one of the only really serious parts of the movie, I felt like, and it was done well. I still don't feel like this movie needs to take itself as seriously, though. I know some people might want it to be a bit more serious, but I like it the way it is, except for the part with Russell and the whole alien thing. But other than that, I just like it kind of a stupid, silly, and fun movie. This movie is by no means a cinematic masterpiece, but it's just fun to watch. Like, you can still watch something and enjoy it even if it's not the best. This is kind of a movie that I can just rewatch over and over again, and there's not a lot of movies that I can do that with. There are only a few, so that's probably why I like this movie as much as I do. I have just watched Day After Tomorrow, which is another movie that one of the people who wrote Independence Day wrote, so I think I might do a review on that one. That probably won't be next week. I'm going to be doing Hello Neighbor once again next week, but maybe next week. That's all I have to say about Independence Day. I like the movie, and I would like to hear what you guys think in the comments below if you've seen the movie. Thank you so much for watching this entire video, and I hope you enjoyed, and until then, I will see you next week. Goodbye!